Give me a moment to invite our Spanish-speaking guest. I just want to make sure you heard me. I'm going to say that again. Welcome to 3 o'clock with SOC. Give me a moment to invite our Spanish-speaking guest. Bienvenido y gracias por ver 3 o'clock con SOC. Si quieres acceso al programa en español, por favor, marque ese número que aparece en la pantalla, cual es 646-749-3122. Cuando le conteste su llamada, marque 779-328-221. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Andrea Rodriguez. I am the Leadership Coordinator for Southside Organizing Center. Joining me today is also my producer, Marlene Zoran. She is also our Public Health Coordinator. Very grateful for that. And we have such an amazing forum for you all today. I'm very excited for our first guest. We'll be having Reggie Jackson joining us in a pre-recorded video that we did this morning. And before we have him on, he is the author, former head Griot of America's Black Holocaust Museum, and the co-founder and lead trainer consultant of Nurturing Diversity. We're going to go ahead and show an ad for his organization right now. So here's Nurturing Diversity Partners. We'll be having some great some links also in the comments for you. And I'm going to go ahead and start our video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Rodriguez, and I'm the Leadership Coordinator for Southside Organizing Center. I'm so grateful to have with us today author, former head Griot of America's Holocaust Museum, also Nurturing Diversity Partners co-founder and lead. We have with us today Reggie Jackson. Welcome.
Thanks for having me once again. Always great to be back with you folks at SOC. Really enjoying the work that you're doing in the community.
Thank you, and we just appreciate your expertise so much. And obviously today is the day before Juneteenth Day, and we've had you on just to come and let us know a little bit about the history of it and inform viewers maybe about some great things happening in Milwaukee because of it. Why don't you go ahead and first introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about what you do.
So, most people in the city kind of know me from my work over a number of years with America's Black Holocaust Museum as a head griot there. And I have to tell people now that I'm the former head griot. I resigned their position last year because they really, as they were working on the building and getting exhibits up, they didn't really need griots. So I'm like, why am I telling people I'm the head griot when I'm the only griot? So, whenever they have a necessity of having a griot program again, I'll be back. And so the last 4 years or so, I've been working with my company, Nurturing Diversity Partners. We're a consulting firm that works on diversity, equity, inclusion. And we travel around the country. Most of our work is here in Wisconsin. We've done work in about 50 different communities in the state of Wisconsin, engaging people in schools and libraries, and churches, businesses, in a variety of different places. Having those difficult conversations about race and racism, talking about American history, teaching, giving people tools to learn how to have those difficult conversations.
Excellent, and we're just so grateful. We've had you on multiple times on Great Talk with SOC, and giving us some of the background of what you do for our community. And I know in this past year, especially, there's been so many more organization groups and residents really craving this information. So we're just so grateful for the work you do. Why don't you go ahead and let us know a little bit about the historical importance of Juneteenth Day for viewers that may not know, especially anything here in Milwaukee?
Sure. So I think there's two elements to Juneteenth that are specific that people need to know. But first of all, the celebration is a celebration of June 19, 1865, when a group of enslaved Africans who were living on Galveston Island in Texas finally received word from General Granger that the Emancipation Proclamation had freed all the slaves. Now, keep in mind that this was after the Civil War had ended, and they still hadn't been notified of the Emancipation Proclamation, which actually took place on January 1st, 1863. So this was literally 2.5 years after Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation when they finally got word. And so they have decided there in Galveston for many years to celebrate that day as Emancipation Day. And so that kind of spread throughout the country, particularly in the South, where was a place where majority of Black people were living. That became Emancipation Day, and it was celebrated very largely and widely until like the late 1800s, when things got more difficult for Black communities. Lynching started to pick up at that time, anti-Black race riots. So people really started to concentrate on other things, and so kind of the celebration of Juneteenth, as it became known, kind of died off. But then during the Civil Rights Movement, people became aware of it, and it started to be celebrated again around the country in many communities. But Milwaukee is kind of one of those weird places where you wouldn't think that something that happened in Galveston, Texas, would be really important to people of Milwaukee. And in 1971, actually 1970, the year before, a woman from Milwaukee had visited some family in Georgia, and they were celebrating this festival called Juneteenth. And she's like, "What is this? I've never heard of this before." So they kind of told her the history of it and what they were celebrating. And when she came back to Milwaukee, she told people in Milwaukee, "Have you guys ever heard of Juneteenth?" And they're like, "What's that?" So she got some people together and they started to organize that first Juneteenth in Milwaukee. It was in 1971, and now we have 50 consecutive years of celebrating Juneteenth. We have probably, from what some people say, the longest continuous celebration of Juneteenth in the nation, 50 consecutive years. And it's grown from being a couple hundred people that first year, 1971, to having, I think at its peak, close to 200,000 people attending in the mid-1990s. And so it's gone through some changes over the course of time, but I think the fact that it was kind of canceled last year due to COVID, people still celebrated it, but not with the normal way of celebrating. I think this year, tomorrow's celebration will be kind of a special celebration, 50th anniversary, obviously, but also coming out of COVID, people being able to be outside, interacting, and seeing people they haven't seen for a very long period of time. One of the things I always love about Juneteenth is you always run into people you haven't seen in years, right? Like, man, I haven't seen you since we graduated from high school. It's like, how you been doing? So you always run into people that you haven't seen in a while, and I think people are going to be really very joyful tomorrow. And it's always a special day for me because it's also my daughter's birthday, June 19th. So it's always a good day.
Excellent. I have a daughter that will have a birthday the day after that on the 20th. So it's wonderful. Happy birthday to your daughter. And, everyone knows Milwaukee likes a good festival every time. So I'm glad this will be successful. And I really think, I'm hoping tomorrow will even be a little healing for all of us. I think all of us are craving that closeness right now. And, the weather's looking beautiful. I've heard so many amazing preparations. I'll be volunteering at the African American Roundtable tomorrow. So many organizations are going to be there. I know 414 Life will be there. Just numerous tables I've heard about. They're going to have rides, events. Obviously anyone watching this forum right now, please come out. It's going to be incredible. The parade is in the morning. And if we could even go back to the fact, the origins in Galveston, I think it's so interesting, especially from the Latino OIX perspective. And I have family in Texas, you know what I mean? And to us, Texas feels like Mexico. And to know that news historically happened there. And I'm always looking for different ways for Black and brown people to unite together and empower. That's such a great story, the fact that it happened in Texas. Like, it's just so interesting to me. And I'm just so grateful for that. Why don't you let our viewers know a little bit about how they can stay involved with some of the social justice movement? You do such educational work. You're an amazing author with the Milwaukee Independent. Let us know what they can do to stay involved and educated on changes happening in Milwaukee with social justice.
I think the best way to do it is just to find people that are involved and ask if you can help in the work that they're doing. One of the things that people oftentimes think about when you ask this particular question is someone will say, well, I can start an organization to help with homelessness, or I can start an organization to help with poverty. It's like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's been invented. There are a lot of organizations that are doing great work in Milwaukee. Oftentimes, these organizations that people aren't aware of. And what I've tried to do is I've said that the best way to find out how to do this work is to find out one particular issue that you're really intimately concerned about, something that really touches your heart, and say, okay, I want to find a way to help in that particular area. Let me find out the people that are already doing the work, the organizations, reach out to people that people that are kind of in that space, people that may have been helped by some of those organizations, and get to know something about the organization before you kind of say, I'm going to join this organization to help out, because there may be other ways that you can help without necessarily joining those organizations. There are always volunteer opportunities. And I think one of the really important things that people can also do is get into those spaces where those conversations are being had so that you can express your opinion. Let people know how you feel about things. We don't oftentimes take advantage of the fact that, we have access to our elected officials, right? I always tell people that, listen, when you vote, that's wonderful, but are you following what these people are doing after you vote? Are you calling them? Are you texting them? Are you sending them letters?
I got mine on speed dial. They know it too.
And you know
and
what?
I advise everyone to do it.
Listen, and I tell people all the time, listen, when you are that, and I call these people that stay in touch with them, I call them serial harassers of their elected officials.
I'll take that title. I will take that title.
Because it's a beautiful thing, because they keep track of who contacts them. They know who you are, right? So when they're out in the public at Juneteenth and they see you, they're going to be like, hey, they're not going to just walk past you. They're going to recognize you because you're that person that has constantly, sent them questions and concerns. And I think that that's one way you can do it, is to get our elected officials, get in their ear, let them know that you're concerned about these things. And oftentimes, those elected officials can give you access to some of the tools that you need to get involved. I don't think that we take advantage of them in that way. They oftentimes have access to things that we may not be aware of. And another thing I think that we all can do is really to kind of re-educate ourselves about some of the problems Milwaukee has. One of the things that I've tried to do for a number of years is to tell people that the Milwaukee that we see today is not the Milwaukee that it's always been, right? That Milwaukee used to be a really, really great place to live for a number of years. And that's why people came to Milwaukee. When we look at the growth of a lot of different groups in Milwaukee, the growth of Asian communities in Milwaukee, the growth of Latino groups in Milwaukee. People didn't just come to Milwaukee because it was a great place on the Great Lake. They came to Milwaukee because people here said, man, this is a cool place to live. You should come here also, right? There are a lot of opportunities. And unfortunately, some of those opportunities aren't here. We have challenges, but I think when you talk to people that are intimately involved in trying to make Milwaukee a place that's better than it is today, a place that's similar to what it used to be at one time, then you find like, okay, that's going to be the space that I work in. That's going to be the area that I'm going to concern myself with. I'm going to get involved in that area because there are people that have done the groundwork, and I don't have to start from scratch. And you'll find that the most joyous occasions you'll have are meeting like-minded people and saying, okay, they think exactly the same way I do about this issue.
Exactly, building capacity on some solid ideas to improve Milwaukee. I love it, and as a shameless plug, always our grassroots organizing leadership development for SOC. Any viewers that are in the SOC district that would like to be a part of it, we're happy to guide you on this journey as well. We've had Reggie as a speaker on there before. Hopefully we'll have him on very soon again, but it's always great discussions that we have once a month to help people with their journey with social justice. And I'm also going to say, I'm also thankful for your advice to people to reach out to their elected officials. They always say, there's a difference between, who's a politician and who's actually a public servant. And I really think the difference is how they respond back to you and how they listen to you, which is important. And, I've also had some amazing partnerships with some of the elected officials in my district. And on various things from cleanups to, it could be, public safety, whatever it is. There's always a committee or an agenda or something out there that needs, resident feedback. So thank you for that, for sure. Any contact information, how can people reach out to you, hear about your services? What's the best way to do that?
Well, if people are interested in doing some programs with us in terms of the training that we do on things like unconscious bias, the history of segregation, things of that nature, they can reach us at our website, nurturingdiversity.us, and they can see a list of some of the common programs that we do. So that's one way. Another way of just kind of following me in terms of the things that I kind of put out there is to follow my column at the Milwaukee Independent. I write, I'm contracted to write 2 articles per month, but last year I wrote 77 articles. There's a lot going on last year, right? So I just kind of lost my mind and just wrote a lot of things. But I think that, I tried to write from my heart. I write about things that are topical, and I try to provide historical context so that people kind of understand how we got to where we are. So that's another space they can reach me. On Facebook, people can follow me on Facebook. don't send a friend request. I'm at the 5,000 limit, so I can't accept anymore.
I made the cut. That's all I know.
But I actively use Facebook to kind of talk about. I put links to my articles there, and I also oftentimes if there's something that's kind of a moment of crisis or something that's going on, I sometimes will post something on Facebook about things like that. But that's generally what I use Facebook for. I'm not one of these people that's always on there, posting stuff all the time.
You're not going to give me your meme of the day? No meme of the day.
I don't do any memes. So
Good.
I just
You're not
I just try to stay involved in the community, getting to know people, working with different organizations. I think that's something that more of us need to learn how to do, working collaboratively. We work in too many silos in Milwaukee, and I think that prevents us from seeing real progress because people don't know how to work together because they haven't worked together enough. And that's one of the things I love about what you all do, is to bring different groups of people on the show. The programming that you do really providing access to things that are going on in the community for members of the community that may not know those things are out there. Provided that access is critically important. So I thank you all for that work.
Thank you so much. And I don't think we mentioned this, but just so viewers know, we are going to have links to the Milwaukee Independent columns and also to the Nurturing Diversity. So we'll have that, even though it's a pre-recorded interview. But you also, forgive me if I'm wrong, but don't you also have like a podcast as well, or no?
Yeah. There's a podcast that I did last year with 88.9 radio station called By Every Measure. Tariq Moody and I did that podcast together.
Yes.
And it was a podcast, 6-episode podcast about systemic racism. So we covered a lot of different topics. We kind of looked at systemic racism, the criminal justice system, the healthcare system, in housing, in a variety of different areas. And it was very well received. It actually won the Gold Award from the Milwaukee Press Club for Best Podcast.
That's what I thought, exactly, and congratulations to that. We'll add that link as well in there, because I think that's another great accessible way for viewers to stay updated on what's going on. And I know I heard a few of the episodes, they were wonderful, so very thankful for that and always grateful for the work that you do. Anything else that you want to add to the conversation for our viewers today?
I just want everybody to go out and enjoy Juneteenth. Juneteenth isn't a celebration for the Black community, it's for the entire community. In fact, that Juneteenth is now a national holiday. I think that says a lot about how far we've come.
Overdue. It's overdue. So glad.
I love to see the diversity of people at Juneteenth. As I go there every year, you see more and more people from other communities participating. I think this year will be a special Juneteenth because I think we'll see probably the most diverse audience there we've ever seen because it's so much notoriety about it right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing some folks out there.
And we have so many reasons to come together as a community to celebrate freedom and to do that. And I'm excited. I hope I get to bump into you tomorrow. I wish you the best always. And again, happy birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, one last thing I want to share is we could really follow the example of what Galveston does with their Juneteenth celebration. The Black and Latino community in Galveston celebrate that together. It's really a very, very strong connection between those communities because, like you said, it's about freedom. It's about emancipation. So they have celebrated in that way for a number of years. So we can do that in Milwaukee as well.
I would love to see that, and I no doubt, there's going to be some alliances tomorrow. I know so many great people, they're going to be having booths over there, and like you said, I think it's going to be the best one yet. But yes, going forward, I'm all about that. I think we need as many of those opportunities as possible if we're going to desegregate Milwaukee for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, grateful for you always. Thank you so much.
Sure, thanks for the opportunity. And, have a great weekend. Enjoy Juneteenth.
All right, see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Again, another wonderful visit with Reggie Jackson. He's a Nurturing Diversity Partners co-founder, lead trainer, consultant, and also author. Thank you to Marlene. I see that you put in our those links to the podcast and how to reach Reggie in there. We will definitely be having him back. Just want to give a little shout out to some comments from people out there. Casa Maria, Catholic worker. We always appreciate you following and sharing our information. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth to you. Tammy Rivera, my beautiful boss. Mil gracias to our guests for sharing on Juneteenth Day. Absolutely. I'm so excited for our next guest we're having on a bit. But just for a moment, we're going to go ahead and do our COVID-19 update, and then we will bring on Jacqueline Zeledon, and we'll be talking about tomorrow's event a little bit more.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marlene Zaron, and I am the Public Health Coordinator here at the Southside Organizing Center. Give me a second while I share my screen so you guys can see the current COVID-19 numbers from the Milwaukee Health Department's dashboard. All right, so as of today, COVID-19 cases have gone down, as we can see here. Oh, looks like the site is uploading. Give me a second. All right, here we go. So this map essentially shows how many COVID cases there are in each zip code. And we like to look at the statistics here every week. So once this fully loads here, well, overall, I can say that there has been around 69,000 positive cases since the beginning of the pandemic on March 1st. So these are the numbers from March 1st, 2020 to June 17th, 2021. This is updated on a weekday basis by 3 p.m. every day. And in Milwaukee County, there have been 625 deaths due to coronavirus since the beginning of the pandemic. All right. Here we go. So this is gonna give me the numbers for COVID-19 cases in the past 7 days. And then, so honestly, if you look at Milwaukee County as a whole, you'll see that the only zip code that's showing positive cases right now is the 53210 zip code based on this map. And then there's Whitefish Bay that is showing some positive cases as well. The highest number of cases right now are in the Black or African American community at 41 cases in the past 7 days. And the second coming in second is the Latino X or Hispanic community with 7 cases in Milwaukee. By age range, the highest number of cases is in 25 to 34-year-olds with 19 cases this week. The second highest is the 15 to 24-year-olds at 13 cases. And then coming in third is 35 to 44-year-olds with 10 cases. And lastly, 55 to 64-year-olds with 9 cases total. So that is my COVID-19 update for you guys for today. I also want to let individuals know that we do have our COVID-19 committee that you can join on next week, Saturday, the 26th at 1 p.m. Essentially, this COVID-19 committee is a platform for community members and neighborhood members to come on with us to help us and them create programs and projects for trying to break down the misconceptions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine and to get individuals vaccinated for their COVID vaccine. I will be putting that registration link in the comments section, but if you're willing to join us, we do have a raffle for a $50 Walmart gift card when you join us on the meeting. So I'm gonna give it back to Andrea now so we can have Jacqueline come on.
Excellent. Thank you so much to our public health coordinator, Marlene Zoran, for that COVID-19 update. Marlene is giving updates at every single live forum episodes, and we have seen Milwaukee get stronger and stronger every day, and very hopeful for this summer for all of us. Marlene will have the links to the committee in there. It's a very quick hour. I'm part of the facilitators for that, and it's always a really, really solid discussion to really be a part of some of the changes that we're doing in the city of Milwaukee to protect our residents from COVID. So please join us. We would love that. Up next, we're going to go ahead and now have our live guest today. I'm so honored that she could fit us in. She's very busy. Advertising and Marketing Committee co-chair for the 50th anniversary of Juneteenth, Jacqueline Zeledon. Hello. Thank you for fitting us in today.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Excellent so much. And, we just had a little bit of historical insight of what Juneteenth is, especially here in Milwaukee with our Reggie Jackson. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know your role with your organization?
Certainly. By day, I feel like I am the Community Outreach and Internal Communications Coordinator for Milwaukee County Transit System. And by night, but also by day too sometimes, I am, like I said, I'm involved with the Juneteenth Day Planning Committee, and I've been part of the committee for the past 7 years. So I do have some history. And so as part of the planning committee, what we do is we spend a great amount of time, getting everything organized for the, for Juneteenth Day, everything from working with different groups, put together the parade, to the street celebration, to the Little Miss, Mr. and Mr. Juneteenth Jr. Pageant that we just concluded recently. So a lot of work is involved with putting this event together. And this year was quite exceptional because, as Reggie mentioned, we did not have a Juneteenth celebration, but the community, we went ahead, we celebrated in our own way. But this year we have the whole thing back. And it was, usually we have like several months. And we announced back in early April that we're going to go forward. And we just been running ever since.
And I'm so grateful for that you all did make the decision to go ahead and do an in-person event. I'm so excited to see. I've been hearing so many great plans. Let us know a little bit about some of the details for tomorrow that our viewers could hear about so they can come and join us.
Yes. Well, this year we have for the parade, it's going to be starting at 8 a.m. People, like that's pretty early. And the reason is, thanks to TMJ4, they're going to be broadcasting the parade live. So from like 8 to 10 a.m., they'll be broadcasting the parade. And we'll have Mr. Mac Weddle. He'll be one of the commentators, kind of giving color commentary. We anticipate I think we have over 100 parade participants. So everyone from the Grand Marshal, Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley, to dance teams, drum lines, a whole assortment of people and organizations and groups coming out to be part of the parade. And it'll just be fun. And people will see the parade. It goes from 14th and Atkinson all the way down to King Drive to Burleigh, where then, we have the festival which takes place. And so the festival part essentially will be from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so we have over 200 vendors that will be there. And we have for this year a special kids zone. So we wanted to, I want to back up a little bit. So for the 50th, we wanted to do something, we wanted to make it our biggest and best yet. We wanted to show up and show out Milwaukee.
That's
so
right.
We have it's gonna be televised. So if you can't make it down, you can watch it at home. And we have a kids zone that's also something special for this year. So it's going to be in the lot for Dr. Martin Luther King Junior Elementary School. We'll have games and activities, especially for kids, a special entertainment section for kids and teenagers. We'll even have some free food just for the kids. So, grandma, you can't try to sneak that hot dog. This is just for the little ones, a place just for them, to have fun. And we'll even have some handband for for children to match up with their parents, because I don't know about you, but I'm always finding a lost child at no matter which event. So we'll have a
Great
way
idea.
to
Yeah.
connect, make sure we are able to, if someone does, a child does, or actually a parent gets lost, we can connect them, the child to the parent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's just one of the things. We'll have entertainment areas. We're gonna have like a main stage area over near where the parade ends, kind of like between Burleigh and Locust. We'll also have entertainers ranging from blues and gospel, and so it's a lot of things going on, and it's all up.
Yeah, and this is turning into the event of the season, honestly, from so many organizers and residents. I've heard so many individuals talking about either getting booths or being a part or just joining in the parade or whatever it might be. We're so excited for it. You mentioned some of the vendors, and just to let people be prepared, any kind of costs that people might expect to be prepared for tomorrow.
Well, there is no admission fee. It's free to enter and walk around, give hugs, high fives. That's all free. But we do ask for in the vendor area to patronize the businesses that are there. Many of them are Black-owned businesses, ranging from food vendors to clothing to uh, African artifacts to, please support them. So that's another reason to come out. And this year in the vendor area, it's going to be set up differently than it has been in the past, in that each block will be kind of sectioned by group, if you will. So we'll have a section just for where you find all the food vendors all in one place, say maybe all the clothing and other retail vendors all in one place, social service organizations, advocacy groups, they'll all be neighboring each other. And we also, at the booth, all the vendors will be wearing masks because COVID-19 is still real out there. And we'll be asking vendors to practice social distancing. And at the same token, we also encourage our guests to wear masks as well, because we know that, again, COVID-19 is still out there, and we want to make sure that our guests several days from now are still in good health. So we encourage use of masks and social distancing.
Absolutely. And we need to make sure that we are protecting those so we can all celebrate the 51st anniversary next year. So
Exactly.
yes. And I think I read somewhere, and Marlene is going to go ahead and screen share in a moment and show our link to the event. So you have a Facebook link, and she can let people know, and we'll have that in the comments as well. But I believe it mentioned also that you'll be giving out masks as well, correct?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you can look for, we have some volunteers that will be wearing some special t-shirts that will say courtesy ambassadors. So the courtesy ambassadors will be handing out disposable face masks. So maybe if, you're like me sometimes, like, oh no, I forgot my mask, gotta go back home or buy one. So they'll be handing out masks, and they'll also be around to answer any questions you may have in terms of trying to find a particular location nearby. So they are there to help.
Excellent. And Marlene is showing right now the event. We'll definitely have the link in the comments as well. And honestly, now that, vaccine or no vaccine, we don't need to get in that debate today, but I almost find wearing a mask, especially when you're dealing with a vendor or you're in a business, it's almost like a common etiquette. I almost feel like it should become, let's watch out for each other and safety first. So thankful that you've thought of everything on your committees and even have this covered. And, I'm so excited to be over there tomorrow and eat good food and spend money. And you even have rides, correct? Is that also what I've heard?
That's for in the children's area. In the kids zone, they'll have, again, special rides just for them. So it's not for adults. It's for the kids. Because we want to make sure that, one way to have younger generations keep coming back to Juneteenth is to make it appealing to them, like something they look forward to. So then, they start out maybe coming, as children, and they're visiting the play area. Maybe look forward to next year, and then maybe years on, like maybe they start volunteering, and then who knows, they might be on the planning committee one day.
Exactly. I'm so hopeful that that happens, and I'm so excited to enjoy this event tomorrow. Any contact information or any other things that you would like our viewers to know?
Yes, you can follow us on Juneteenth Day Milwaukee, that Facebook page. We ask that for the parade, again, we're encouraging everyone to be safe. And since we have so many people in the parade, make sure that uh, uh, just make sure that you have your spot. And if you're someone who uses Milwaukee County Transit System, you can visit our website at ridemcts.com and see service alerts. So, like I know, like the 19, which goes along MLK Drive, the 60th, that's 60, the 60th Street, Route 60, which is Burleigh, and there's another route that's escaping my head right now. I'm gonna say Route 80. So there's some routes that will be have a temporary detour. So go to ridemcts.com, or if you know somebody who's going to be taking the bus tomorrow and normally goes on those routes near King Drive, make sure they check out the temporary signs that are in place and visit the website. And
excellent. And what a good way to not have to deal with any parking and be safe and to take the bus there. Remind me right now, have they increased capacity on buses, or are we still at a low capacity right now?
Right now, we're still at 20 people maximum, and because it's federal requirements that all passengers and our operators too wear a face mask.
Excellent. So great things to keep in mind. We hope we have so many people that show up tomorrow. I'm excited, and I hope I get to cross paths with you soon besides the virtual world. Thank you again for fitting us in, and thank you for all you do for our city.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm
right.
glad I could be here.
Thank you. All right. Gracias. We'll see you soon.
De nada.
All right. Thank you so much to Jacqueline Zeledon coming to talk to us about our Juneteenth celebration, 50th anniversary. The parade is at 8 a.m. Again, like she mentioned, you can see it on TMJ4, or you can catch a spot, and please enjoy the events. It's going on until 4 p.m. And there is a link in the comments as well for you to get there. We're going to go ahead and end our show. I can't believe it's such a great show today. Amazing guests. We have a full week for you next week as well. I'm excited to see that, and I will see you next Friday. Thank you, everyone.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take a quick survey that's located in the comments section so that we can keep 3 o'clock with SOC going for residents. Thank you for tuning in.